Welcome back. It's the WFISD Sports Zone. I have got the Rider Athletic Training Staff. I've got Robert Doley and Brittany Harder. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. We're here in the WFISD Career Education Center with Chad Johnson's Media and Technology class. We've been doing this now for a few weeks. It's time to talk something about, something other than just sports. We're talking about the folks who take care of our athletes. So, Coach Doley, it's your first year over at Rider High School after spending almost 16 years. 16 years at Wichita Falls High School. Just tell everybody what the athletic training staff does.
We take care of all injuries occurred in athletics, and we do care and prevention of all athletic injuries.
What's a typical injury that you see on any given week?
Ankle sprains are probably the most common injury we see. Take them from the time that they get injured on the field to back to going full athletic participation again.
Okay. Coach Harder, talk to us about this. All of our coaches in WFISD, they coach 2 sports. How many sports are you involved with?
Every single one of them.
Every single sport?
Yep. Athletic trainers have a saying, there is no off season for us. So we just keep on going until the sports are out of playoffs or until the season is over.
Awesome. So you stay pretty busy.
Yes.
So how do we balance family life with work life if you're in every single sport?
It's tricky. You have to have a patient family.
Now, Coach Harder, you've got a new family.
Yeah.
Tell our fans, and we've got thousands of viewers now, tell those thousands of viewers about your future family plans.
Yeah, so I'm actually getting married next summer in July. And it's kind of funny because it's a big rival between me and this other side of the family. They're big Old High people.
Tell everybody who we're marrying.
I'm marrying Griffin Russell. It's Suzanne and Dale Russell's son. And Dale Russell is actually the athletic trainer at Old High for 5 years, something like that. And Griffin was a big athlete over at Old High, and now his whole family went to MSU. I went to Tarleton, so it's a fun rival between us.
So that makes the holidays, lots of rivalry talk.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of arguing about who's better.
Oh, yeah, I always win, so
I was going to say,
okay.
I'm putting my money on you winning the argument if it goes like it goes at my house. So that's great. Well, let's talk this. The hot thing in football the last few years, let's talk concussions, okay? Serious injuries. One of the things that we tell people is football's never been safer. Helmets are more advanced. We have restrictions on how much contact you can have during a practice. We're doing a better job as coaches of teaching tackling. We actually require our coaches to be certified as in the Atavus tackling certification program, but they still happen. You still have a head injury. Coach, take us through when an athlete may or may not have a head injury, how you evaluate them.
Okay, so obviously we'll pull them off to the sidelines or off the court, whichever their sport they're playing, and we'll go through some questions. Do you have a headache? Do you feel dizzy, nauseous, those types of things? So we're going off this checklist. And then we go through more of balance testing. So we'll have them stand with 2 feet together, 1 foot together, and then we'll have them with the right foot in front of the left foot. After we do kind of those types of things, we may ask them, okay, well, what's your school schedule look like? And then I'll run them through a cranial nerve test, which is a bunch of, do you remember anything before or after the play? Can you read far distance? Can you read something that's on my shirt? Those are just checking all the cranial nerves. And then I'll go through an upper assessment where I'll have them shrug their shoulders, put their arms out like they're a chicken. And do a bicep curls for the girls, that's what I always tell them. And then I'll have them tricep extend. But for concussion, the biggest thing that people don't understand is it only takes one symptom out of the entire checklist. So if you got a head ringer or bell ringer, if you got a headache, we're going to hold you out until either subsides or we start asking you other types of questions like nutritional questions. Have you eaten today? Have you had enough water today? Those types of questions to really see if it is a concussion versus nutritional.
Okay, thanks. And Coach, talk to us about you've identified an athlete that does have a concussion. They've failed Coach Harder's sideline test. What happens now?
What happens now is they are removed from the contest, and then they have to we refer them to their physician, and they go and see. This is actually a state law that was passed a number of years ago. They have to go see a physician, and when that physician evaluates them, they can send them back to us, and they say when asymptomatic, they can start the return to play protocol. And the return to play protocol is just that. It's a building block of getting the athlete back to practice and/or games.
Okay, great. So we monitor any athlete that has a concussion. We're going to monitor. We may hold them out 1 week, might be 4 weeks. It's all about when we feel like their symptoms have returned to normal and they are ready to go back to playing.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Well, let's go a couple more questions here and we'll wrap things up for today. Talk to us about how you guys ended up in Wichita Falls ISD. Coach, you're the veteran. Let's start with you.
I moved here in August of 2002, and I was a graduate assistant athletic trainer at Midwestern State University. And during that time, I started dating my wife and knew that we were going to get married, and I wasn't going to be able to live on a GA salary. And so the head athletic trainer at Midwestern told me about the job opportunity at Wichita Falls High, and I applied for it and got it, and then stayed there for almost 16 years and moved over to Ryder in January. So
awesome. Well, we're lucky to have you. Coach, tell us how you ended up here.
Well, I'm a pretty young gun at the profession, and so when I was graduating from grad school, I saw that this job was opened up, and I knew Griffin would eventually go to MSU for school. And I said, should I apply? Like, I don't know if I should really just get all my things and move to Wichita. And he was like, yeah, sure, why not? It's a job. I was like, yeah, you're right. So I applied, and I got the interview, and it was my first interview as a big kid. And they called me about a week or two later saying, hey, we want you. You're coming to Wichita. You're not going anywhere else. Those were good old Dan Brown's words to me. And I was like, okay. So I had the job in April before I even graduated. And I haven't left yet. So.
Awesome. Well, we are lucky to have both you guys with us. Thanks very much for joining us on The Zone.